Well, I'm slowly but surely catching up on this, whatever this show is at this point. We're now halfway through, onto episode 4. I've got episode 5 to do the day. I've also got National Treasure episode 3. So it's one of those days that I'm just going to spend watching absolute shite. For your entertainment, mind you. That is what it's for. It's also, a bit for me. It is a bit for me, but we have episode 4. This one shouldn't take us that long. Because it's really, we don't have much going on. This is when we're kind of just held up with the actual story. And not much is really going on. This is just, we're stuck in a castle. We got to do this. That's about it. That's pretty much it. So it shouldn't take us long at all. So we're just going to dive in. We're going to dive in. We're going to blow through it. Let's see if we can't get it under 30 minutes this time. We shall see. But I'm always best not even fucking saying anything about time, because it always takes longer. But it shouldn't take us too long, hopefully. I've got too much on the day, really, to be pissing about. But, at least I'm caught up with it now. I've just got the, episode 5 this week, but then I'm caught up with it. So, we left them the previous episode. After them dragging that fucking wagon about the entire episode, it exploded. They were then on foot. They had that guy, the prince, the prince that was meant to be marrying Kit. He's infected by that corrosive magic that just eats away at you till there's nothing left. Except we all know what's going to happen. we all know. Just out of the blue. But we will get to it. So they spotted this castle and they're now heading towards it. They're now, because the storm is so bad, you've got Willow. He's absolutely shattered, as you can imagine on little legs. But yeah, it's like we already start off, and I'm just like, you say one thing, then you do another. Willow's like, we can't go in. It's what the crone wants. Yet they're walking towards it. They're not stopping. So you are going in it then. So it's a bit too. It's like you've already committed to actually going towards it, and now you're like, oh, we can't go in. That's what she wants. Then why are you going in? Why were you walking towards it? Why were you walking towards it before you said that? Why did you not say that up on the cliff? Dunno. We've had this multiple times in this show so far, where Willow will say, that's what the crone wants, and then they do it anyway. So I'm really starting to think maybe it's not what the crone wants. I don't know what the crone wants. Apparently she wants one thing, but then when it actually comes down to it, nah, she doesn't do anything about it. It was the same in the previous episode. Willow said, we can't split up. We must stay together because the crone wants us to split up. And then they split up. Fucking make your mind up. So, yeah, they're gonna go in there because that guy's infected. Remember, they've got nothing to fix him with. Nobody's mentioned a thing about being able to stop what's happening to him. Nobody's mentioned it. We already had to kill one of the Knights of Galadorn because there was nothing to do about it. Nothing that they could do. So, if you're about to go, oh, actually, this, fuck off. You would have mentioned it ages ago. That's what you would have done. No. So, they've tied him up. Just for, when it fully takes a hold of him. So, he's all tied up and stuff. Kit's right in on the, let's just kill him. Let's just fucking kill him now. You would think that's what they would have to do, even though you shouldn't really, it should be pretty hard to kill them. Considering that guy in the previous episode got hit in the back with an axe and didn't die. Yet, at the end of the episode, Jade put a sword for him and he died, right? So that's how that works, I guess. So yeah, they're already being very inconsistent with how this shit works. But Kit's straight to, let's fucking kill him. Let's just kill him. And Willow's sitting there not saying a thing. The High Old One is not saying anything. If there's anything that can heal him, you would think he would know. But he says nothing. He continues to say nothing. So, and then they're just, you know, she asked Willow to do, you know what she did in the previous episode where, you know, he brought his staff down and that big burst of energy or whatever it was. Kit's like, do that, and then Willow's like, oh no, that will kill him. It will be it will be nothing but pain, and then it will kill them. It will blow out his insides. But that didn't happen with the guys that you done it to in the previous episode. It didn't kill them. Jade had to kill one of them. So does that really do a thing? So yeah, they're just talking about that. I think essentially, see, because I haven't seen the original movie, I think this is basically the nostalgia bait episode. That's kind of how it comes across. We have little sections of showing parts of the original movie, and that seems to be what the episode is, I guess. So they're still trying to, yeah. Willow still hasn't said anything. Still hasn't said. We're now 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in, and he hasn't said a thing. Nothing has been said. So until Willow goes, there may be a way to save it. You sat there all that time stuffing your fucking face when you knew what there was something you could possibly do. Right. Why again? Writers don't seem to understand that when you have stuff like that happen, it makes Willow look a twat. I guess that's what you're going for, because he's been useless the entire season. But they don't seem to understand that when you have a character that, you know, the guy over here is going to die, and Willow's sitting there stuffing his face, not saying a word, and then eventually he says, there may be a way. You had the amount of opportunities you had to tell them that, and you... And it just so happens that they're in the right castle to find such a spell that will... It's basically an exorcism. That's essentially what it is. But they just so happen to be in a place where they can find a book. Because Willow has said, you know, oh, if there is something, there may be something here. And they just like go down somewhere and they've got a book that has a spell in it. You know, it's lucky you came here. If you were anywhere else, what would you do? What would you do? Oh, I know. You wouldn't mention it until fucking very later on. You'd sit there, stuff your face. Oh, the absolute daftness in this show. But yeah, he just sat there, not saying a thing until eventually. It took him ages. How many hours do you think within the actual show, how many hours do you think we've had of Willow just sitting there and not saying anything? Unbelievable. And it's like, you know, so what we could have saved those Knights of Galadorn then is what you're telling me. Even though this guy here said there's no way of saving them. Bad magic is corrosive. It eats you until there's nothing left. But now there's all of a sudden a cure. So yeah, they go down and they find this book. Again, lucky they were in the right place, wasn't it? Otherwise that guy would die. Should be dead anyway. Because Kit was obviously wanted to kill him, and then we all know, yeah, but he shouldn't die though, should he? Because that guy got hit in the back with an axe and didn't die. So yeah, I don't know why all of a sudden. Oh no, we can kill him with swords now, right? Whatever. So they've just got to get a bunch of stuff together. This is just the episode where they just walk about the fucking castle and talk about their feelings and stuff. Borman is, you know, he's looking for treasure. So it's really not that much goes on. I've got, you know, a page and a little bit of notes. That's about it. So it's a bit of a slow burn. So they've got to find a load of stuff. He tells them, like, don't wipe the goo. Oh no, yeah. First of all, he's gonna get Alora to do the spell. Because he's got a limit on his magic, apparently, for some reason. Which is why. I don't know why. And he's going to let the inexperienced, no experience whatsoever, Alora take charge. Good plan. Good plan. Always let the inexperienced do it. All she's done is made a fucking plant grow. That is all she's done. This idea that, oh, she can extract a demon from... No, I don't think she's ready for that, is she? But he tells them how you can catch this disease. And it's like, if you wipe the goo, or touch the goo, or sniff it. Yeah, Allura, I'm pretty sure Allura did that in episode 3. She, like, wiped the guy on the face, and, like, it burnt him. And she had, like, goo on her hand. So she should be infected, then. Or Willow doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. You know, whatever way you go with it, it's shit. So she should already be infected with that. So they talk about their feelings. You know, Jay's just like, I had to kill me foster father and stuff. That's about it. Again, a lot of this stuff, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I really don't care what they're going through, whatever. You know, it's whatever. So, yeah, Borman, he's walking about. He drinks this random shit in a haunted castle, as they say. I don't know why. Don't know why, but then he walks across here and spots this door. So he's going to spend the entire episode trying to get into that door. Right. Okay. So yeah, he's I don't know what he's contributing really. So they're now Willow's still going over this book. Kit comes back and says, I could find everything except the nightshade essence. So Allura proposes, well, possums, wherever you're going to find a possum, don't know. They eat nothing but nightshade essence. So if you take out their spleen and cook it, then you have nightshade essence. Now Willow has said they must have every single thing they need, or they could blow up the entire castle. That is how little room for error you have. That's what he just said that to Kit when Kit said, "Oh, I found this, but I couldn't find that." He's like, well, we need everything, because one slip up and we're all going to die. We're going to explode. The castle will explode. So you would think that there's no room for error here. And then she's like, it's worth a shot. No, he just said, we can't have a fucking slip up. You know, I don't really know if that would work. Would that work? If an animal eats a certain thing and you take out its spleen and cook it, would you be able to extract a certain thing from it? You know, it would depend on how much of they'd eaten it, how recently they had eaten it. So again, she's like, worth a shot, and I'm just like, no, Willow, you just said everything needs to be right. It needs to be right, and she's like, it's worth a shot. Oh, it's worth a shot, is it? You might blow up the fucking castle. You haven't thought it through, have you? It's just amazing. So yeah, she doesn't even know if that'll work. But when she first says it, she says that'll work. Like, she says it in that way, in that sort of tone, like, oh well, if we do that, then we've got that. And then she's like, it's worth a shot. It's like, well, which is it? Are you sure? Are you certain, or are you not? Fucking hell. So they should be blowing up the castle, really, I imagine. So yeah, there's not really any room for error. They're going to do that. So yeah, Kit is going to go looking for this fucking thing, for this possum in a jar. So she looks at that. She looks at this entire shelf and doesn't find it. Then she has a conversation with Borman. Then she goes back to the shelf. Oh, she's found it. I don't know why you didn't see it the first time. So yeah, Borman's going about looking for, I don't know, a key or something like that. Or I think just something to open up this door. I think that's all he's doing. So yeah, then she finds it. It's like, you looked on that shelf originally. Why you didn't see it, I don't know. But fine, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much that. They've already started this spell. They've just got. They're like mixing the mixing the thing together, whatever it's called, and and they're chanting this, the same spell over and over and over and over. But yeah, the funny thing I find about this is Allura, she can say this spell like correctly, like straight away, whereas in episode 2, we spent half an episode on her saying the same thing over and over because she couldn't say it right. We had a big joke about it, but now it's like, now she can pick up on it straight away. We're not far. I think most of my notes are for the start. Really, yeah. He starts because he's taken over by some sort of demon. He starts speaking like the prince. That being Eric. And funnily enough, they actually mention him at the start of this episode, because I was forgetting about Eric. I was like, oh yeah, that's what we were doing. We were trying to find Eric, weren't we? It hasn't really been brought up though until this episode, really. So you start to forget what it is. So yeah, he sees like visions of his dad's basically calling him a piece of shit. He has no honor, stuff like that. So you can tell this castle is kind of like already fucking with their brains, really. Just showing them things that aren't there. So yeah, I can only assume it's just stuff from the original movie. Again, it's just the nostalgia bait episode, really. That's why there isn't much going on. Then Borman's still going about trying to. I think he ended up here because the castle was fucking with him a bit. So she starts crying again, and all that sort of stuff. He's like, "Oh, if you look at what you want and don't stop till you get it," and stuff like that. Oh, it's a very, very, very touching scene. I think the only touching scene that's been in this entire series so far is when the other little man died in episode 3. I did forget to mention it, where he says, basically says, "I died protecting my friend," but it would have been good if we had more of their relationship in the actual series. Then it packs a punch, doesn't it? So that's the only scene where I'm like, nice scene. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to back it up with. I guess he was in the original movie. But yeah, if you're just kind of coming into this series, again, you still need to establish certain things. So they're still mixing this. They've got the possum now. It works. Luckily, they don't blow up the castle. She said it was worth a shot. So it's worked. Yeah, no, this is when he starts talking like the prince. Then he starts talking like Willow's daughter. So he's just trying to fuck with them a bit. So did we have anything else in this scene? Not really. Yeah, Allura starts wanting to. No, are we even there yet? I don't even think with. Yeah, Allura starts. Now she wants answers in the middle of an exorcism. She starts, having a go at Willow for what happened to your village, what this, what that. And it's like, it's maybe not the time. Maybe not the time for that. So she storms off. You're in the middle of an exorcism. Just get on with it. Just fucking get on with it. So Borman's still fucking. There's like voices coming through the keyhole, but it's obvious. They say the castle is cursed. Borman doesn't believe that. Yeah, it's very obvious. Yeah, it's cursed. There's things appearing in people's eyes and stuff. So they start talking about something. Then she hears. Allura hears screaming going on, so she runs off to find it. Kit follows behind her, but she's disappeared. To where, I don't know. Jade is still huffy. She sees her mum dead and stuff. And then this thing appears. If you can get a good shot of it. Should be able to. No, I can't see. Where the fuck is it? Yeah, it's like this big skull thing that appears and starts attacking her. So they end up in this room. Allura, she basically sees like her mum. It's like like not a vision, but she sees her mum, and her mum's like, oh, she's in the doorway. She's fierce, and she's not fierce. I don't know why she's saying all that, because she's like saying, oh, she's this. No, she isn't. We haven't seen any of that. So Jade ends up in here with Kit. They're holding the door shut, and then Borman knocks on the door. He comes in and starts going off because you know that thing he found, that the little thing you plug into your armor and it protects you from darkness, whatever that is. It's like no longer in his pouch is gone, so he's assuming that Kit has stolen it. So it's just like the castle is obviously cursed. It's obviously, you know, they say it, but it's like obviously trying to turn you against each other. So yeah, so then Allura comes back and he's right. This stuff's all broken, right? It looks very suspicious, but he's like, oh no, what is it, a lurch or something like that? They call like the demon thing a lurch, I think. And he says the lurch jumped out of me and went into Willow. And I'm just straight away, I'm like, well, this, this seems a little off to me. This guy seems a little off because usually he doesn't have a lot of confidence and stuff like that. Yet here he does. That's why it's like, well, it's obvious, love. It's obvious, Allura, that he's not who he says he is. And I mean, just looking at how all this stuff is broken, I'm like, you would assume, what's he done with Willow? What's he done with Willow? But he's like, oh, Willow, it jumped in the Willow. And they're like, well, where would the lurch want to go? And they're like, oh, because originally Willow said, don't go into the high tower. Because I don't know what's up there, but summon or other. Don't go up there, so they shouldn't really be going up there. But he's like, he convinces her because she's a bit dumb, a bit blonde. And yeah, she's just like, let's go up the high tower. That's where they'll be. I'm just like, how have you not clicked on that this guy, it's like he's acting completely different. I don't know how you're not seeing it. So then he asks, do you know where the high tower is? And she's like, yeah, I was born here, right? Just because you were born somewhere doesn't mean you know where the fuck you're going. I'm pretty sure that's cropped up in a lot of things where a character would say, I was born here. Right. That doesn't mean you have to grow up here to know where you're going. You were born in the castle. You were taken from the castle straight away, so you don't know where anything is. Even though the high tower... I imagine if you look out a fucking window, there'd be a high tower up there, and you realise that's what it is. But she was born here, guys, so she knows exactly where she's going, even though she never lived here. So, yeah, they go up to the tower. They're still having a bit of a to-do, whatever. Then they notice candles, like light coming out the high tower out there. So they're all going to go up there. So these two come in. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. I ain't got much notes. We're almost at the end of the episode anyway, so we might as well blow through it a bit quicker. So, yeah, then he reveals himself as, yeah, he's still got the lurch inside of him. So he's still an evilman. So I don't know where Willow's gone. What did he do with Willow? They were in, like, a room. So, yeah, I don't know what exactly he done with Willow. Where did Willow disappear to, then? So, yeah, he's talking about, why, I'm strong now. This is what you wanted, wasn't it? So he throws, like, a rock. When, yeah, Willow enters, and the guy throws a rock, and Willow jumps out of the way. He's got powers and stuff as well. The other guys didn't have powers. You know, I guess it's maybe, is it the crone working through him, I think? I assume that's what it is. So then he starts doing all this. Yeah, he starts saying, you haven't told her the truth, Willow. Tell her the truth. Like, because they bring up how he defeated Bavmoda in like the original film. And our evilman is like, yeah, he didn't, like, the only reason he stopped Bavmoda was because she was, like, she made the wrong decision or something like that. She was careless. So it just, again, that's why stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, it's probably just nostalgia bait, isn't it? That's pretty much all it is. So it just shows us Bavmoda dying and stuff. So yeah, we did see, like, Willow had a vision of this in the previous episode. So yeah, then they're like, I beat her with my friends, and I've got friends this time. Fucking hell, I'm so bored. I'm so bored of this show already. This was probably, I don't know if it's the most boring episode. I'd probably say the most boring episode is probably episode 2, but this is a runner-up. So yeah, she's like seeing visions of herself as a baby coming to her. They're holding this guy down, and Kit fucks off to go and give her a pep talk that you can save him, can she? Is she fully trained sorcerer? Is she? I don't think so. But it's just, yeah, it's this whole. It's like, you can save him. Meanwhile, Jade's over there. She had to kill her fucking foster dad when you could have saved him. So she goes over to him. He's like, don't, or something like that. I don't know why. Yeah, she sucks out of his mouth. It shows us because he's been taken over by something before. He did mention that he had that's why that icicle shit on his chest. That is what that's from. He had something infect him before, so it shows us a vision of he's on a tree with his brother. His brother's basically just saying, not everybody has to be a knight. They could be smart and be a prince, be wise and stuff like that. But then, yeah, then he throws his brother off. So he's clearly overtaken by something. And he throws his brother off the tree and kills him. So that's why his dad's kind of a bit pissy with him. So she's now saved him. They don't even say anything about it either. Like that he killed his brother. Or at least something that overtook him killed his brother. So now they're off, and Borman's little device thing like shows up again. I guess it was already there from the start. So they're now off on an adventure. They're finally going off. Are we finally going to get somewhere in this fucking show? You've got these things, like looking at them. I don't really think this, like, all this sort of stuff looks good. It does look a bit plasticky, a bit rubbery. So, but those are like the things that jumped in, like the castle in the first episode. So yeah, they're like, yeah, she says to him, "Bring me the girl and kill everyone else." So they're going to be getting followed the next episode. And then finally, after 4 episodes, a character everybody completely forgot about because he's barely been mentioned. There's been that much shit going on. You're just like, oh yeah, Eric, yeah. That's what they were originally doing. Sometimes it doesn't come across like that's what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing sometimes. But he like wakes up in this cell that's open, comes out of it, and it's like ashy. It's like all ash falling out of the sky. He's like, "Hello, is anybody there?" I mean, you know, I mentioned the denim yesterday, but he's got a leather jacket. He's got like a leather motorcycle jacket. Where do you get that from in the medieval age? So he climbs up there and sees all this. So I don't know what this is, because I think, see, the reason why Willow didn't want them going in the high tower, because that can be a portal to Nevermore or Neverworld, something like that. So I don't know if it is that, but that's like the only I can figure it must be. I suppose we'll have to find out in episode 5, which I've got to watch today. So we'll find out. I'm looking forward to finding out what this place is. It's just CGI gobbledygook, I guess. Don't know what it is. So that brings us to the end of the episode. We didn't quite do it in under 30 minutes, but We done it quick enough. So, yeah, this was just a very slow episode with little happening. Some stupid things at the start. It's very similar to episode 2, where most of the dumb shit happened at the start of the episode. And then we just spent the episode with, you know, boring drama. Again, when you have all this characters talking about their feelings, it don't mean fuck all when nobody likes the characters. I think the only character left that I like is probably Borman. No, he's all right. He's all right. He's nothing special, but he's something like, you know, he's a laugh. Doesn't take anything too seriously. He's not an absolute twat like some of the other characters. He doesn't seem useless, other than he spent the whole episode pissing about with this vault, rather than, you know, helping. But that's probably the only character they've got there. Willow, again, he's just a frustrating character. He's just useless, absolutely useless. That shit with the sitting there stuffing his fucking face and not mentioning anything about, oh, there could be a book in this castle to save this man. Again, it just makes him look like an absolute prick. Or just, I don't know what's going on with him. Then you've got Jade. Don't really know who she is. Then you've got Kit. We haven't really had... I'm surprised we haven't had more of them. Of Kit. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of the lesbian romance. That's apparently what the show was putting at the forefront. We haven't really seen any of that. So I guess when they said that, it was all bollocks. So, yeah, Jade, you don't really know nothing about. Kit, she's just a narcissist. A very annoying person. Bit of a Karen. Then who else have you got? You got that prince. I still don't know. The prince that Kit is supposed to marry. I still don't know. I still don't know his name. I really don't know what his name is. He's pretty much just the guy that lacks confidence and stuff like that. But that's pretty much... And then Alora, you know, I ain't really got nothing to say about her. And then you've just got Eric. Again, we haven't really had much of him. So I'm still confused on why exactly he was kidnapped in the first place. For what reason? I'm really hoping that the reason isn't, like from the evil people, or like the crone is, if we take Eric, that will draw Alora out from her protection. See if that is the fucking reason why they took Eric. I'm going to be pissed off at that. Because again, they're betting on so many different things to actually get... They're betting on Alora falling in love with Eric somehow. And then they're betting on her being bold enough to go out and try and find him. So I'm really hoping that is not the reason why they took Eric. I hope there's another reason than that. But it's probably going to be that reason, isn't it? It's probably going to be that reason. But yeah, I think that's all we've got on episode 4. So now I've got to go and watch... I've got to go and have lunch first. And then I've got to watch National Treasure, episode 3 of that. To be honest, watching these shows at the same time, National Treasure is probably worse than this. I'd rather watch Willow than National Treasure. National Treasure is even more boring and just a really annoying show. So at least this is at least somewhat, you know, better. You know, can we really use that word? It's just not as shit as National Treasure. So I should have that out. Well, there's no point mentioning when I have stuff out, because this one isn't going to be out until, like, Friday. So I'm just going to finish off there. I will let you go. But until next time on the old Fantasy with Denim show, whatever this fucking show is.